Well, the big focus this afternoon will be on Hisar and the situation over there. Well, the stage is set for another clash between supporters of Rampal and the police at the Satlok ashram there. The Haryana Police's 10 a.m. deadline for the evacuation has ended, and now the police claims it will continue with its operation till Rampal is arrested. Remember, the Punjab and Haryana High Court's deadline for his production ends in 48 hours from now. Overnight, over 10,000 protesters were evacuated from the ashram. Sources in the police say several thousand are still holed up inside and fear they may be armed. Now, we have seen violent clashes between the police and Rampal supporters yesterday, where more than 100 people were injured, including security and media personnel. All right, now two voices, as you heard, close to the premises of the ashram. One is the staunch supporters of Rampal who are with him inside the Satlok ashram. The others who've been unwillingly holed up inside because some of those followers of Rampal have arms with them, and they forcefully kept the other followers inside. And the people outside, the local villagers, also want Rampal to be arrested and the ashram razed. So two voices emerging out of Hisar for the moment. Now, the worry for the police is that women and children are inside the ashram. So if they are to move in, taking all the force that they have, that could result in casualty. That could result in women and children being hurt over there. So that is why the police is waiting for as many supporters, to come out from inside the ashram, so that only the really staunch ones are inside when they move in for the final operation, the final crackdown, and arrest the self-styled godman Rampal. Now, in fact, our reporters are giving you all the latest updates from the ground. My colleague Ankit Tyagi has sent this latest report from Barwala.
People are still coming out of the Satlok ashram. Right now we are just outside the ashram, and just as we came here in the morning, there are these 30 to 40 women and children, those who have come out. In fact, you can see old people, those who have been inside. There have been reports that many of them were forcibly being kept inside. आप लोगों को निवास से क्या निकलने नहीं दे रहे थे? आप लोगों को जबरदस्ती अंदर रोक के रखा हुआ था? ताला बंद कर दिए हुए थे। ताले बंद कर दिए इन्होंने। और कैसे, कितने लोग हैं अंदर वहाँ पे?
1000-1200 होंगे। डर
महिलाएं और बच्चे भी हैं अभी?
जी जी,
बहुत लोग हैं अंदर। अभी जबरदस्ती रोका हुआ है आप लोगों को अंदर?
आने नहीं दे रहे थे, अभी थोड़े
आने नहीं दे रहे थे। There are a lot of people again and again repeating that they were not allowed to come inside. You can see that the policemen here are helping them, getting them in these buses. Then they will be taken. Also, of course, the stuff that they are carrying is being also checked. Let me quickly also take you through where we are. You can see on the ground how the literature from the ashram is littered around. This has come out. These black dresses that you see were of the commandos, those who were there. In fact, the police are completely in control, although they have given time to surrender. There are people still holed up inside. The situation and the amount of the people that we saw, the numbers that we saw, not the same. That's the Satlok ashram that you can see behind me. This has been, of course, the focal point, the area of action here. Yesterday, the police, despite the operation, could not move in, and since yesterday, about 10,000 people have, in fact, come out. What you can see behind me is on the rooftop are still some hardened supporters of Rampal. According to the police sources, there are he is still holed up inside, but you can see the impact, the way this entire operation, of course, was done. The police still saying that there are weapons, and that is why it's difficult for them to move inside. The operation is expected to begin in some time, but still they are giving a deadline. They are giving some time for those holed up inside to surrender, because they still believe many are being held up against their will. With camera person Shakil Ahmed, Ankit Tyagi in Hisar for Headlines Today.
All right, let's also tell our viewers that now the tension, as our reporters have been mentioning, has started building up. The 10 a.m. deadline has passed. 2 hours have gone by since then, and the police, we also know, is getting very restless because they have been at it for quite some time now. It was only yesterday that they decided to move in inside of the ashram, and we all saw what resulted in that. We're continuously getting you live updates from the Satlok ashram, the premises around there with the police, heavy police presence over there, even as some of the people from inside the ashram are coming out in batches. Ankit Tyagi joining me live over the telephone line. Ankit, can we expect police action anytime soon?
Well, right now there is a massive formation of the police right in front of the ashram. In fact, officers trying to put them in their platoons just ready for a charge. They are still waiting for senior officials, those who are on the spot meeting, in fact, going on to decide when they have to take action. But one thing is certain, that the action will now be taking place very significantly. Let me also quickly tell you, the number of people that we saw outside the ashram and on the rooftop, that has significantly been reduced. So the cops worry that they have in fact fortified their positions inside the ashram, yet the police has not been able to break inside. There is only one huge gate that goes inside. They have broken the periphery walls in the front, but they have not been able to go inside. So the worry now is that all those people, those who are left inside, are motivated, supporters. They are in fact policemen saying that they are under, the fight would now be to death. And all of them must have fortified their positions, and that is why the police is being very cautious in moving in. Also, if I may very quickly add, there are about more than 10,000 people who have come outside since last night. In fact, in front of me, the report that I had sent just earlier, we saw 40-50 people coming out, all of them saying that they were segregated from their families, and also that they are now being forced to stay inside. So that is also a worry of the police. They still believe that there
Absolutely,
are about
Ankit, which means that there's a hostage-like situation that's developing inside, which is another big challenge for the security.
Absolutely. Most of them saying, and then the police also cautious of the fact that if the number of the fatalities, if that goes up, then of course they will have a lot of answering to do, because people now are coming out and saying that they have been held inside against their wishes. According to the police, they still estimate about 10 to 12,000 people inside. In that, about 5 to 6,000 hardened supporters of Rampal, and rest of them are people, those who probably are just hostages right now. Many of them still trying to find out their families. They do not know what is the fate of their children, of their husbands. That is what the worry of the police is. Also, there is some confusion as far as the whereabouts of Rampal. This now will be the main focus, because Rampal supporters are saying that they have hardly seen him since 5th. Their spokesperson since a couple of days have been saying that he's not in the ashram. Although I spoke to senior police officials, they confirmed that according to their intelligence, he's still inside. So now that will be a contention. If Rampal is not found inside, then it will be a big question mark on the police's
Absolutely. Ankit, do stay on the line with me. We've managed to establish a live link with Pankaj Upadhyay, my colleague who's tracking all the developments along with Ankit. Pankaj, security forces seem to have been thrown in a tizzy right now. That they're confusing the security forces, the followers over there, as far as the whereabouts of Rampal are concerned. And, B, they're sending out signals, like we saw a couple of pictures being floated around saying that some people have lost their lives. Of course, the police has denied all those reports. So they're trying to confuse the security forces is what one can make out. Pankaj, are you with me?
Sana, there is a lot of audio problem here. With whatever little I could hear you, if I may apprise you with the latest situation here.
Sure.
If my camera person will show you, around 50 meters from this place, heavy barricading can be seen, and we are not allowed beyond this point. This is the maximum furthest point that we could reach, and around half a kilometer from this place is the ashram, where it is believed that the controversial godman is hiding along with his armed militia. Even though there are conflicting reports coming in whether or not the Baba is still inside or not. Now, many disciples still waiting in anticipation, waiting if at all there could be a police activity or not. But ever since I have been here, the score of police, the count of police and the paramilitary forces have been increasing by the hour, perhaps indicating that police realize realizes that all the pleadings and the requests have fallen into deaf ears, and they perhaps would have to resort to the last option, and that would be to barge inside the ashram. Even as we talk, as I was maintaining, lots and lots of vehicles of the police and paramilitary forces coming in every now and then, and giving an indication that perhaps now the police and paramilitary forces were finally making up their mind to resort to the idea of going inside, even though officials even now maintain that that option is the last one, and they would still wish that all the disciples come out thinking that the women and children were used as human shields.
Right. Pankaj, can we expect the police to straight away barge in? What is the sense that you are getting, you know, taking a cue from what happened yesterday? Are they likely to use tear gas first like they did yesterday?
Sana, what happened yesterday, we saw around 4 p.m. the entire operation was abandoned because the police realized that the determined disciples had spread LPG gas cylinders at various quarters, and they feared that perhaps if they barged inside, those LPG cylinders could have been ignited. And the fear still remains. Additional fear is that the armed militia is occupying the strategic locations and they have lethal weaponry with them. And the biggest concern, women and children are being used as human shields there. So to protect these innocent lives, the police and the paramilitary forces are in a state of quandary as to what to do next. Top officials tell us off record that they are strategizing. 10 a.m. was the deadline that was given, and the police expected that the disciples should come out, but that has not happened. The 63-year-old godman has not relented. The disciples have not come out, and the problems of the police and paramilitary forces are increasing by the hour, because now this has become a huge and a crucial operation, because the deadline is also nearing. Come what may, the police says they need to succeed in this operation. And as I may again repeat, police says even though they are treading with caution, the fact remains if they run out of all the options, then the last resort would be to go inside, barge inside the ashram and get hold of the Baba, who the police force believes is still holed up inside. But that would obviously run a lot of chaos around the ashram, and for that precise reason there are hundreds of followers who are still waiting in anticipation for the next...
Right.